Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Just going to do a quick audio test before we get started. Hello guys and welcome to another stream. We're here at Los Angeles International Airport. Now, I know you guys may have been expecting a MetroAir livery. For whatever reason, I installed the MetroAir livery. I've used it before on another computer. Absolutely fine. I did a German tour as part of it. Probably about a year ago now. On FSX, I did a little German tour, and you can with Fly UK, and you can use any plane. So I decided to use the A319 with MetroAir, and the livery was fine. However, installed the livery yesterday, went into the sim now, clicked on it, and it failed to load. It literally just says failed to load flight model. So I don't know why, but yeah, that's what it is. So we're using the default Aerosoft livery for today. Same type of plane. It's an A319 IAE with sharklets. So exactly the same type of plane, same engine, same body, just different livery. So we'll have to live with that for today. It's absolutely fine. To be honest, we'll just pretend it's a brand new plane that's being delivered to MetroAir and it hasn't been painted yet, yeah? So, anyway, let's get into the plane then. Now, also, one thing to announce, this probably will be the last stream on FSX, quite likely, because I actually discovered yesterday the new flight sim is now ready. Because I haven't really paid much attention to it over the last couple of weeks, but the fly-by-wire A320neo mod, particularly on the development build, has come a massive way. The flight model is not quite there, but it's getting there. The VNAV integration, it is a thing now. It relies on you putting in altitude constraints, but it does work. So it's got limited functionality, but it's okay. And yeah, it's flyable. I did a flight on that sim, and it behaved perfectly like I'd expect it to. And now they've got their sound engineers on it. It sounds absolutely amazing as well. So I think, from next week, we may start playing that game. But anyway, jump inside the cockpit then. To be fair though, this game does actually look still beautiful. When everything's lit up and everything, it still looks absolutely amazing, I've got to say. And the camera controls in this game are still far better than the old one. Right, no ATC obviously because it's midnight here in Los Angeles. Right, over to Unicom and we'll get ourselves on the latest AIRAC database and let's get ourselves loaded up before we do anything. So out of here we've got about 141 passengers today, so almost full. The textures look really low. That's just me. They look okay on this side. Maybe it's the camera angle. Also, it's because I've been using the new flight sim. Right. Block fuel is going to be 6.91. Nope, that's cargo. 6.91 in fuel. Get rid of the cargo side. Cannot do that. Just put 0. Right, for cargo, we need... Well, we're looking for a 0 fuel weight. Oh, yeah, this thing does it in takeoff weight, doesn't it? We're looking for a takeoff weight of 63.68. So... 63. There you go. So we're looking for about 5.7, 63.68. So we're looking for 5.74. There we go. Put that in there. Everything's loaded on board. This can just head to the doors page now. Actually, we'll just make sure that the sound is all working. I know this is an A319, so I don't know whether it's any different to the regular A320. It's part of the different pack, so I was wondering whether the settings might be a bit different. They're okay. They're all fine. So, let's actually get ourselves loaded up then. So request boarding. Obviously, this game does have ground services. I'm looking at purchasing ground services for the new flight sim. There's FS Dream Team's Pushback Express, and that's now been expanded to provide ground services as well, within limited functionality at the moment because of the SDK file for the new sim. But it's getting there. That looks like the new alternative to GSX. So it's currently on sale, so I might pick it up at some point. It's only about 18 quid at the moment, so I might pick it up. It's only like. One thing that I've noticed on the Aerosoft store is €23 on their European store. But if you say that if you click on the US thing at the top and it puts all the prices in USD, it's $23, and $23 is cheaper than €23. So it's kind of, you can get it a bit cheaper just by changing what currency you're buying it in, which is kind of a bit weird. I don't know why Aerosoft does that. Right, so going from KLAX to Denver. Put them in there. Call sign today is Metro, M-E-T. Obviously not Fly UK because it's a Codeshare, it's a separate airline. Metro 440. Cost of next is 25. Cruising today at 370, and our block fuel, of course, was 6.9. You can't put in any further kind of details there. From KLAX, we're going to be doing runway. Well, the winds are suggesting the 07s, but I've listened to the ATIS. And they're using. I've looked at flight radar. They're using the 25 right for departure. Actually, the winds do agree with that. Never mind. So yeah, 25 right today. They're using, and it's going to be the Orca 5. Wait, is that correct? That doesn't sound correct. Yeah, the Orca 5 with, it's supposed to be the LAS transition. No. Okay, why was that not there? Okay, let's have a quick look then. I can put it in myself, but there was no LAS transition available. So after Orca, it's to N Navy. So Navy. That's a bit weird. Navy to Blazon. I wonder why it didn't display an option. Maybe that was just me. To Blazon to LAS. And then we'll have to put the restrictions in ourselves for that bit as well. There, great. And then from LAS, we're on our route. So we'll have a look at Simbury for that one. It is from, that's Las Vegas, by the way. We have done this flight before in a 787, actually. J146, although you can't do it in the 747, in the 787 anymore, because Fly UK's had a bit of fleet change around, and they've dropped the amount of 787s they have over at Toby Sky. Right, Navy, Blazon, yeah, there's our, so from Dicey, it's then going to be directed to Bump.
Good morning.
Bump. And I will have a quick look, actually, at the ATIS down in Denver, because Denver has so many runways, it's really difficult to know what's actually going on. So let's have a quick look, type in Denver. They should have an ATIS. It's live ATC. It generally only works for the US, but they don't appear to have an ATIS, actually. They only have... Oh, that's a shame. They don't have Denver ATIS. They have all the other things about Denver, but not its ATIS. So that means we're going to grab it from Flight Radar 24, because we'll be able to see what planes are landing there at the moment. Because it does massively change our arrival into Denver, so I'd rather know it now. So arrivals, the last plane to arrive was 20 minutes ago, 767, Atlas Air. It landed on... Okay, that looks like it came in from a different... It came in from the opposite direction to us, and it landed... Let's grab Navigraph. It landed on... again, the opposite to what we've originally said. It landed on, I believe... Where's the airport chart? It landed on 35 left, I believe. Looking at that. Yep, 35 left it landed on. So, that implies they're using 35 left down there. We'll keep flight radar open, but 35 left is what they used. So, we'll grab 35 left. 35 left, ILS. Okay. Great. So, it's going to be, from Bump, it's going to be the Siski 1. That's a cool name, isn't it? So it's going to be ILS 35 left. via the Siski one. And I don't know if there's any transitions, are there? This thing does not match up with, oh yeah, it's the tele transition. This thing doesn't match up with how it works in the US for this Airbus. Like, the way it works in the US, you often have transitions on your SIDS and stars. This thing doesn't seem to pick up on that. I've noticed, it's the first time I've actually flown the Airbus over here. So that might explain why, but it doesn't pick up all the waypoints. I don't know if that's realistic, but you can't select a transition for your star for some reason. It's really strange, but I don't think you can unless I'm doing it wrong. ILS35 left. What if I just type it in? No, yeah, it's supposed to be the bump transition, but we can't select it, which is really strange. So we have to put in all the waypoints ourselves. Yes, GSX, we'll close the doors, don't worry. Have they completed all the loading? They have as well. Wow, that's quick. Alright, we'll shut everything then. Okay, we'll do it all ourselves then. So from bump, it goes to snowy. Honestly, it feels like I'm back on the new flight sim now. Having to put in all this stuff myself. I don't know whether the Airbus is actually like this. To bowl. To a basin. Yeah, it's really weird. It's because in the US, like, the stars have transitions. They don't do that generally in Europe. The stars don't tend to have transitions, but yeah, and then it goes to Siski, so that's okay. Yeah, it just misses out the transition part of the flight. It's really strange. And we'll sort out transitions while we're here as well. There you go, the Siski 1. So we've got to be bump, bowl, and we've got to be above 270. Or is that below? I think it's below, actually. No, it's above. We've got to be above flight level 270 at a basin. Why is that a bad format? Okay, flight level 270. What? What does it mean, bad format? Okay. Oh, it's the other way around, isn't it, on this plane? What? However, that will mess us up, actually, because I remember this is a bug in the Aerosoft Airbus. It basically puts in a top of descent. So if we know we're going to be above that certain flight level, don't interfere with it. Otherwise, it freaks it out. It's so annoying. Then we head to Crag, where we've got to be above, we've got to be at 13,000, above 12,000 at null, and then Teller, we've got to be at 11,210 knots, and then we're on the arrival. So that's okay. I don't know what it thinks we're going to be at flight level 237 there, but okay. There's a few weird things with this plane. Honestly, it's not the most detailed, this plane. I do know that. Right, Coop, we've got to be above 15,000. I think that's the only restriction. The initial climb is going to be... so we need to be above 10,000 at Clipper. Okay, so we've got vectors. Obviously, in real life, you have vectors out of a lot of American airports. So if we have a look at how it goes, so we take off. I can't really see it. QNH down here is 1016. However, we are using altimeter here, so it's 29er decimal 9er. There we go. So initial climb is going to be, we need to be above 10,000. First restriction is 13,000, so that'll be initial climb. This can go into constraint mode, and well, I think fuel pumps can come on, and we can get the APU on, seatbelt signs on, strobe light auto, and we'll let everything fire up. So let's grab a look at our route. Obviously, there is going to be a discontinuity. We're going to be in heading mode on departure after Clipper. We want to go to Docker. Yep, and then from Docker, it's on a heading of 261 apparently. 261. And we'll request pushback as well from GSX. And there's nothing in the area. There is a Air Canada on the ground heading down to Miami. Okay. Want maximum water brakes for takeoff. On the spoilers, and let's get our takeoff calculations done. So it's going to be a flaps 1 today, flex 57, transition altitude is 18,000 feet. Transition altitude down in Denver, 18,000 again, of course, we're here in the US. We'll leave all the rest of that for now, I think, into it in the air. So there we go, hour and 38 minutes this is saying, which is about accurate. So it's manual until... And then after Docker, it's a heading of 261 apparently. Actually, no, it's heading of 236. 236 on the heading. Right, this is saying we have to go left. Is that? Yeah, that's correct. So left is going to be... we want APU to be on now. It should all be powered up, so external power can come off. Everything else is looking good up there, so we can go ahead and yep, get everything set up. So shut the door, retract the jetway, and ground connections off. Oh, here you go, parking brake on first. There we go.
Departure check.
Like I've got on the load and fuel page now.
Release parking brakes.
Parking brakes released.
Commencing push.
Ignition start.
All engines clear. Start at will.
Space 200 on there, and transponder on, and engine 2 start. And beacon light can come on. We'll have the full... We'll leave the full with the wing lights until we start taxiing. Don't want to blind anybody here close to the gate. Right, let's wait for engine 2 to spawn into life, and then we'll get engine 1 on its way as well. Where is this Air Canada anyway that's just spawned in? Actually, we'll get flaps 1 for takeoff as well. And there you go, engine 2 is nicely spooling up now, so engine 1 can come on. And weather can come on. Right, so initial climb is 251.
Set parking brakes.
Yeah.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Engines are good. Actually, yeah, the engines are good now, aren't they? Okay, we're still waiting on engine 1 to fully boot up. Once it does that, we can go ahead and get our APU sorted out. Yeah, my mic is working fine, good. Just checking it. Right, okay, engine 1 and 2 are nice, so APU bleed off, APU off, and wing lights on, taxi lights on. There we go. Everything's looking good now. You can see our massive taxi light ahead. Right, so the departure is going to be climb on heading 251, then climb direct to cross Docker at or below 3,000. Oh, initial climb's 3,000 then, is it? Okay. Then on heading 236, expect left turn to cross Clipper at or above 10,000. Okay, so that is what we need to do from there.
Left is clear.
Routing.
Right is clear.
From Orca, maintain flight level 230, and then we should get a FARS transition, FARS altitude from ATC. There's no ATC, of course, so we'll be going straight up after. So we should, there you go, have a good trip. So that is the signal from GSX that we can depart. So there's going to be a departure right here, and then we're going to go all the way down Charlie, and then to Foxtrot, and depart from Foxtrot. Los Angeles traffic, Metro 440, taxi holding point Foxtrot via Charlie. Los Angeles traffic. Okay, so away we go then. There you go, just stop that. Stop that sound. It wasn't intended to do that. Although this is what happens. Right, so taxiing along now. This is Charlie, so we're going to turn to the left here. Weirdly, this game gets lower FPS than the new Flight Sim, but it doesn't look as laggy. It's really strange. FSX has always been like that. Like, according to the new flight sim, I was getting 30 FPS and it looked laggy. And right now I'm getting 25 and it's fine. It's really strange and it looks smooth. It's just really odd. Right, actually we need to do a takeoff config test. Done. And we need to set the trim, which is 0.8 up in this aircraft. Well, it is this version of the Aerosoft Airbus anyway. Right. So yeah, it's runway heading 251 initially, and then to Docker, which I think is just a straight ahead thing, and then heading of 236, isn't it? Yeah, Docker is just straight ahead, and then it's a heading of 236 then, and then we're going to make a left arc then round to Clipper, making sure we can get 10,000 feet, which is a bit of a steep climb, I know. That's kind of how it is. We'll delete the discontinuity, just... oh, I mean not allowed. Well, there you go, apparently it's not allowed. We'll just go direct to Clipper at some point, I think. Yeah, it's looking cool from the outside. We did get the wing lights turned on, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Everything's looking good up there, no lights or anything. Check the status page. All good, all normal. And yeah, there is an Air Canada apparently on the ground. There's nothing approaching, so that's good. Nothing else is heading for Denver, I don't believe. No, there's a plane currently on the ground in Munich, but that's not going to be there before us, is it? If it's on the ground in Munich. Munich's miles away. Right. Obviously, we've only got 800 miles. Munich's like 5,000. Isn't it? Let's have a look. Direct. It is... oh, 4,500 direct. Not bad. Right, we've reached Foxtrot. It's Charlie 1 apparently, although this is a scenery that is about a year old. So some things may have changed since then. Well, this is Foxtrot now, actually. Los Angeles traffic, Metro 440, taking off 25 right. Alright, so, landing lights on, runway turn-offs on, takeoff lights on, and let's get ourselves lined up on that runway. Heading 251 straight out. I've never heard that, because I don't fly this thing during night. Interesting. I didn't know they changed based on the time of day, that's cool. Right, let's get out of this slightly laggy airport of Los Angeles. Right, initial power. It's because of all the special buildings you get with this airport. And flex, SRS and runway. Start the clock. And away we go, airspeed's live. Hear the roar of those engines go. Don't think we'll get any ATC today, unfortunately, but there you go. Very rare in the US at this time of day. I think right now there's only like one ATC in the whole of the US. 100 knots. There's V1. Rotate. There we go, using all the runway. And in the air we go. And we're on runway track. Right, in the air, positive rate, gear up. Right, passing 600 now, so we're going direct to Docker, which is on runway track. And we can't climb above 3,000 here, although we're just about to come up to Docker now anyway. Right, disarm ground spoilers, and takeoff lights, apart from line lights, can come off. And we have passed Docker, so that's a heading of 236 now. So autopilot in, and thrust climb. So also we want it to follow a heading, so we need autopilot for that. And we're now clear up to 13,000. Right, flaps retracted. What's going on here? Is this supposed to be the sea? I think this is the sea that we're over right now. It looks a bit strange. Probably because of the lighting. Right, we're now on a climb of 236 away from... oh, I hate that it nukes this thing. Right, we're now on a climb out, and we want to head direct to Clipper. So we're going to do that. There we go. And this thing should try and climb in time. I think we'll make it. Needs to be above 10,000, and then we've got to be... we can't be any higher than flight level 190 at the next waypoint that has a restriction. So that's what we're cleared to climb up to at the moment. And this thing, yeah, just doing a quick arc turn. Basically, we should make above 10,000 by Clipper, no problem. There you go, turning out away from... that sea looks really broken. It looks really strange. Anyway, there we go, look at that. That is nice. All the lighting in the background as well. That's cool. This game still has moments when it looks nice though. That's almost certain. Yeah, we're going to easily make above 10,000 by Clipper. No problem. Already well on our way to achieving that. Clipper is basically directly over the airport, so basically going to just do a full arc turn away, and then it's kegs. And yeah, we can't climb any higher than flight level 190 at the moment. This thing should stick to restrictions, so I'll just put it straight up to our cruise altitude now. We're going to easily meet above 10,000 by Clipper, so that's okay. And there we go, FSX has improved a bit now, we've climbed a bit higher. Hello in the chat, hope you're enjoying the stream. Right, passing 10,000 feet, landing lights can come off. We're going to wait until we pass Clipper to turn the seatbelt signs off.
Air Canada 1337, is there any active runways at Los Angeles?
I believe 25 right is being used for takeoff at Los Angeles.
Roger that, thank you.
Alright, so up in the air we go. And there we go, we've actually reached kind of about 300 knots now. And there we go, look at that. You can see all the cloud, and then you can see like the massive city of Los Angeles down below us. Looks absolutely amazing. Absolutely awesome. I think we'll be able to climb. I don't think we'll be limited by this altitude restriction of 19,000 at kegs somehow. We'll wait until we finish turning and then we can turn off the seatbelt signs, which will be nice. Right, 40 nautical mile range for now. And there we go, that is ours, safely out of Los Angeles, now climbing straight ahead. So that's kind of the main turn bit of the procedure done. Obviously transition altitude here in the US is quite a high, 18,000 feet everywhere. So that is just how it is. Yeah, I don't think we'll be limited by this restriction of 19,000 somehow. I think we'll be okay with that. Because we're literally just about to pass kegs now. There we go, and we're now clear up to our cruise altitude. So we can go into 80 nautical mile range and just settle back and enjoy the flight. Right, we've finished our turn now. Seatbelt signs can come off. And unlike the new flights, this game actually has contrails, believe it or not. A feature that this game has that the new one doesn't. It's probably the only one, but there's one. I just don't know why they didn't put like all of the crazy physics engine and the crazy graphics and they missed contrails. It really annoys me. I don't know why, but it's just like you put this much effort into a game and you miss out contrails. I mean, seriously, of all things, right. Standard pressure to past 18,000 feet. Like, contrails is such a simple thing. And they missed it out. It just really bugs me. Right. Let's have a look at what else they're using in terms of runways down in Denver. I don't know whether they've had a new plane on the ground since. Doesn't look like it. They haven't got anything taking off or landing at the moment, so it doesn't really look like there's much going on down there. Next arrival, so it's currently 2:30 down in Denver at the moment, local time, so it's probably about an hour before we're going to expect anything landing then. Yeah, we're not expecting the next thing to land is approximately 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's a DC-10 from Memphis. Departures, there's not much in the way of departures either, so I don't really know how we determine what they're doing down in Memphis, down in Denver. The winds are 80 at 8 knots, so I guess, well, runway 7 is probably quite good. I don't know where we're parking either. I don't know whether Fly UK has a specific part. Okay, so we want gates 49, 51, 53. And that's for a 737, so that's similar to our size. Obviously, I know this is a Codeshare flight, so it's a little bit different. Have a quick look at our parking bays. Wait, this is Los Angeles. Why are we looking at Los Angeles? Actually, let's get rid of the Los Angeles charts, because we don't need those anymore. And get Denver parking gates up. So we want, there you go, parking gates. Actually, it's based on, it doesn't say what concourse. Oh, concourse A. So concourse A they park at 47, 49, 51. So concourse A is quite close. Actually, I think we'll be benefited. Oh, I forgot how this thing works. So yeah, 35 left will be the best runway for us in terms of a gate. So I think we'll take 35 left. 07 would also plonk us quite close. So we could take 07, although it doesn't tend to be used, 07 and 08. They're like extra runways for when it's busy. So I think, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter because we've got Denver to ourselves anyway. So it doesn't really matter what runway we use. We'll see how the weather progresses. We'll get our weather actually put into the Denver thing on here. So the QNH down there is 3041. It's quite high pressure down there actually. Really, I need to put the dot in, do I? Yeah, it's -1 down there at the moment. Dew point is -13, so we're probably going to be needing anti-ice. Although it's not raining. There's no cloud reported whatsoever, so I think we'll be okay. And winds are 80 at 8 knots. So there you go. That's the wind plugged in for later on. But this is looking cool. This very lit up Airbus cockpit. We have 729 miles left to run. Just make sure there's no, there's no discontinuities anywhere. So yeah, should be about an hour and a half flights down there ish. What I'm expecting is about 720 miles. We've only flown 60 so far. So it's about 780 miles in total. It was meant to be about 780 miles, so that's great. By the looks of it, we've got some very nice wind though. By the looks of it, it's going to actually work out at a distance of 658 miles. In terms of significant weather, so we're going to actually have tailwinds of about 100 knots up there. So that's well nice. No significant weather, but yeah, tailwinds are about 100. We're looking at about 110 knots at their peak. That's insane. Absolutely insane. 110 knot tailwinds almost. I mean, we're only at 28,000 feet. I'm already getting 70, so I believe it. That means we're going to be absolutely flying. Which is good. We're going to be going very quickly. If we're doing the flight the other way, it'd take forever with this wind. Weather radar is turned on, however we're not really getting anything at the moment on there. Obviously, it looks quite dark outside. We've got our plane, look, all its lights turned on. Actually still on the SID for Los Angeles, and we'll be on it until the Las Vegas VOR. It's kind of interesting, like, how long they last, those procedures here. But we're approaching top of climb at about 40 miles, I think. We'll probably be there. Ignore what it says on the FMS. It's a bug with the Aerosoft Airbus. That's the thing, though. I mean, this Airbus is actually, because of some of the things that mean it's not the highest quality. Obviously, we know it's not the professional version. That's why it's not quite the same quality. It actually means that, like, the new flight sim is kind of quite similar on quality to this plane now, which is cool. You know, I mean, that's what I like. The new flight sim is getting there thanks to fly-by-wire. I mean, the game on its own is still terrible. I actually looked at, what do you call it? What's one? I'm starting to remember. I looked at the feedback snapshot for the new flight sim they released. They've updated it now last week in their development update with all their plans for the future and people's wishes. One of the top wishes was I miss trains. So obviously putting, I think if you have it high enough, you can see trains. The settings, you can see trains on the ground moving about, like you can see cars and things along the highway. Their ETA for adding trains to the ground was 2022 to 2023. How it can take you 2 to 3 years to put trains in, helicopters 2 years, improved flight planning system 1 year. Why are they so slow? It's just like, wow, you know? And they haven't got any plans to make the default planes better. And then one of the top wishes is acknowledge the fly-by-wire A320neo community project, and it just says investigating. It's like, because obviously at the moment they sort of overwrite each other. I think they accidentally scrolled up on there and then it went back to normal. We're okay. Oh yeah, we're alright. But yeah, honestly, they're having a patch. Like, this is what annoys me though. There's actually an update on Tuesday, I think, and it's obviously you know how they have the world update where they built up Japan and put in some new airports. They're doing the same for the US now, and it just annoys me. It's like you've got all these game-breaking bugs. I can't even use one of the default planes without feeling sick because of the autopilot, and they're working on new scenery. Like, I don't care about the game. The game already looked spectacular. I actually flew into Eindhoven yesterday. I went from Gatwick down to Eindhoven. Now, unfortunately, I mean, even FSX has better scenery on the ground because Eindhoven Airport, for some strange reason, was just a grass field with a runway. I don't know why, but it was. So I've downloaded some scenery for Eindhoven. That's now fixed the problem. I've got some spectacular scenery for Gatwick as well. Free scenery. It's amazing already, the community stuff for that game. Because Gatwick Airport looks inaccurate at the moment. It's got a massive block in the middle of it by default, which I don't get. It's stupid, but anyway. Yeah. So that's really cool. But anyway, we went under like the clouds in Eindhoven, just under the clouds, about 3,000 feet, and you just think, is this real life? And it was on high settings. It's absolutely amazing. It just looks spectacular. You know, you start to question if it's a game, and that's why you know a game looks cool. You know it looks super duper awesome. It's absolutely amazing. Just a shame, you know, the game is so bad in other areas. I mean, I can go into the clouds and go, oh, that looks amazing, but then when I land, there's no airport there. Or, you know, I'm in the air, and I think, oh, this is nice, and then the plane starts rocking around like mad. It's a massive shame. But it's kind of just, it's just like a massive picture. It looks awesome, and then the rest of it is just terrible. It's not useful for anything. But luckily, Fly-by-Wire have come along, and they're developing an A380, and their A320neo mod is absolutely awesome. Their A320neo mod is literally, it's so good, their neo mod. It's absolutely amazing. You can see here, look, I've got it there. And I've got the development version installed at the moment, and it's just really crazy. It's like they got a nice little download client that they have, and it's really cool. And you know, they've made it, you know, once the A380's out, that'd be cool. Although I don't know why they've chosen an A380. I would have rather they'd made maybe more of the A320 family or something, but it's all free, it's all open source, and you know, that means that anybody who knows about code can just go on there and go, oh, I'll do this for the project. Obviously you need to be half competent with code, but it means that you know, if you want to, you can just, you know, contribute to it. It's really good that they're doing that. You know, they've got people working on sound, people working on model, and that's how it gets done so quickly. The other two, there's the Salty Simulation 747 and the Hangar 9 787, both of those mods are not really progressing at the same level. The Salty Simulations is only on its second update, and the Hangar 9 is only on its first update, while there's the Fly-by-Wire is on its fourth update, and the Fly-by-Wire also has much larger updates as well. The other two, the Salty Simulation 747 is coming along, that's alright. I think the Hangar 9 787 is a little bit dead. You know, when it's only had one update and nothing's really been done to it. It's quite similar to the default aircraft at the moment, but the Salty Simulations one is noticeably different already. It has got things like menus. I mean, the new A320neo has got, you know, they've actually got a feature in it now, in Microsoft Flight Sim, where you can message other people using the Fly-by-Wire A320neo, so you can have like a chat. And it's just amazing that. Like, even this doesn't have it. I don't think any plane in FSX has that. Or even P3D maybe. And then there's another one where, you know what, in the Quality Wing 787, where we can go in and request a METAR. You can request the METAR directly from the sim, or you can ask for it from Vatsim. It's just nuts. So you don't even have to go onto a weather website and search METARs. You can just search them. You can't even do that in this plane. You know, it is really coming along, that Fly-by-Wire mod. And soon, on the development build, they're going to have a feature where you can import a sim brief plan directly into the FMS. So that our CDU isn't it in an Airbus, but you can get it directly imported in. So obviously, putting in all those airways, you can get around doing that. You can just go import sim brief plan in like a company route, but automatically. Like, it's so cool that they're doing this. Right, actually, we're up here at cruise. We've got a nice 100-knot tailwind. We're going to be descending in 1 hour, so got a little bit of time to chill now. Not much scenery, to be honest, so it's basically a desert. We will see the bright lights of Las Vegas at some point. There's Las Vegas in there, in the, it's about, look at that, about 70 miles away from us. That looks like, I think that's Las Vegas. Up here we're getting a pretty nice 30 FPS, outside we're getting 40, so that's pretty good. Also, I'm really disappointed that the MetroAir livery didn't work. I don't know why, it literally just said, it literally just said, failed to load flight model. I checked the installation, it looked okay. Like, I checked the notepad to make sure that the config file had been updated for the plane, to make sure it knew that the thing was there. I checked the texture folders, and it was full of all the usual textures you'd expect to find, so I don't know why it didn't work. It's a massive shame. It used to work, so I did a fresh install because I didn't have it installed before, so it's a bit weird, but it didn't work. So, a bit disappointing. As I said, this is probably one of the last times I'm doing a flight in this game because of the fact that, obviously, trying to think now, because of the fact that the new flight sim has got there now with all of its things. You can see they go 1,042 hours on this game, so it's had its fair use, hasn't it? Really, it's time something else maybe took that over. I don't know. It's being used a lot, that's for certain. So I have upgraded the rolling cache in the new flight sim. That's now working, so I put that on my SSD, make the game run a little bit quicker. Hopefully, I'll put it up to 20 gig. I think I can go up to 28 gig. I think I'll go up to 28. I want to keep it at 100 gig use. Actually, I can put in a bit. Oh, yeah, because the game's not running it, it's not using it up. That's quite cool. Right, 600 miles to go to Denver. So yeah, we are chomping up those miles. Look at that, how quickly that number comes down because of the wind. Also, actually, the weather in the new flight sim is still a bit dodgy. The wind, definitely. The clouds, they seem to have sorted out. The clouds are at a bit of a lower level now than they were before. They're definitely better. But the wind, I was landing in Eindhoven. The METAR said the wind was 12 knots at 200. And up until about 500 feet, that wasn't true. Like, above 1,000 feet, like even at 1,000 feet, the wind was 250 at 30 knots. Obviously way too high and 50 degrees in the wrong direction. And wind does not change that much in 1,000 feet. If you watch it in this game, between 1,000 and 500, it doesn't massively change the wind. It changes a bit, it obviously goes down a little bit, but not so much that, you know, it was the difference between a 30 knot crosswind and a 10 knot headwind. That's a little bit much, you know, that impacts your landing, you know. So when the wind was suddenly changing on landing, I got blown away from the runway because it changed way too much. I mean, it was VFR conditions, so it wasn't mad windy, suitable for smaller planes. It was not crazy cloudy either, so there's no real reason for the wind to just be changing like that. Now, there's no on the weather radar for us at the moment. We've got no significant weather going forwards today. So looking quite good. Just get the, actually, we'll get the approach chart up. It's the only chart I haven't actually like bookmarked, is it? I don't know, pinned. There you go, pinned. ILS 35 left. So just so I know for reference later on. And yeah, estimated flight time stays about 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I'm expecting about that. I think that's what we're going to be doing. Yeah, we've already flown 200 miles, so that shows the wind. We're going a little bit quicker after we turn right after Las Vegas. There is the city of Las Vegas. Down there. There was a choice I had today, actually, of either taking A321 with MetroAir from Los Angeles to Las Vegas and back, or taking this thing, the A319, all the way to Denver. So I chose to take the A319 to Denver. Hello in the chat. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Yeah, this game does still look nice. FSX still looks nice when it's like this. You know, when it's slightly dark. I think it looks cool. Like with all the lights and things. If this was daytime, it would be plain desert, like really plain. So maybe not so nice. Actually, wait, is that the one where you have the Janet Airlines 737? Because I don't think I have. The only mission I've played in this game, I played a couple of the missions. I've done the Amsterdam to London flight where you get the medical emergency. I've also done the one where you're flying over the Indian Ocean and you have an engine failure, but I'm pretty sure they're the only proper ones I've done. I've tried a few of the ones in the private planes, but they always bug out. Like, there was one where I was in a private plane. It was really stupid. You were in a private plane, like I think it was like a Cessna Caravan. Actually, it was flying for an airline, and you looked at the flight plan, and it said to go to 8,000 feet. So I climbed to 8,000 feet, but then the next waypoint was at like 600 feet, and I missed it, and the game freaked out at me. It's like, no, that's not what's supposed to happen. But I just don't even know why it matters what altitude you're at. It's really silly. The game doesn't make it click. But the game provided an IFR flight plan for me and then wanted me to go VFR. It's like, what? Now, so there's the missions in the new game as well, which there's the bush flying, which is quite cool. You know, proper visual flying, that, and it is really fun. Although I did start a series on it, and it's kind of like I just stopped doing it after a while because I kind of fell out with the new sim a little bit. With the joystick though, in particular, the joystick I was using, the private planes are very, very sensitive in the new game. I think they're a little bit oversensitive. I know they're normally sensitive, but it feels a little bit over the top. Oh, there you go, we're turning right now. So we should get even more wind, watch my ground speed just pick up even more. We should have Denver Airport to ourselves. There's only one plane inbound from Munich and it hasn't even left Munich
Hello,
yet.
Captain. Would you like some coffee?
No, I don't like
Enjoy.
coffee. No coffee. To be honest, if fly-by-wire could add that to their A320neo cabin crew. There's already some cabin crew there. When you press the little ding, which doesn't work in this plane, when you press the little ding up there before you take off, they tell them to get ready for takeoff and things. The cabin crew, they tell the passengers. So there's some element of that. They've got a sound engineer working on it, the fly-by-wire mods, and he's done a great job. They've got brand new startup sounds, takeoff sounds, all sorts. It's really cool. Yeah, it's quite an expensive game. One thing, I think you can get a month of Xbox Game Pass for PC for £1, I think it is, or $1. And then you get the game for a month because it's on the Game Pass. That's like one way you can try it out for a month. But yeah, other than that, it's like 60 quid. I actually bought the £110 version, which I probably shouldn't have because the 787 is absolute rubbish. And I'm pretty sure you can also buy the Premium Deluxe and Deluxe versions after you buy the game, because I've seen them in the store. So maybe I shouldn't have done that, but there you go. My fault. Oh, I did want the handcrafted Heathrow. I got handcrafted Heathrow, Dubai, Frankfurt, so to be fair, it's alright, because those the handcrafted airports are nice. Definitely. Although someone's done like a free version of Gatwick, and it looks even better than the handcrafted airports. It looks so amazing. I've got it installed. I think it's Gatwick 6.4 at the moment, and they've got a low detail version and a high detail version for different specs, and it's really cool. Really cool looking. I tried it out yesterday. After I did my flight, I installed it. It looks amazing. Unfortunately, there's no like mod library in the new flight sim. There is a mod manager, but you have to like uninstall all of your mods and then install them again using the mod manager. So I don't really fancy doing that. Although maybe I should do that, because that allows you to deactivate and activate mods quite quickly, which is very useful. I wish there was also a search bar for the liveries. That would be the best thing, is a search bar for the liveries. Because I've got the livery pack installed, so for the A320neo I've got like 100 liveries. It's really annoying because you can't just like... I probably could delete them. I think if I go into the folders I can delete certain liveries, so maybe I'll do that. Because a lot of liveries I don't need. I really don't need them, so I think maybe I'll do that. Yeah, the new flight sim is definitely getting there. That's for certain. Look at that, 544 knots. We are absolutely flying. Alright, anything landed at Denver? Nope. Okay. Weirdly, flight radar hasn't timed out. It normally times out if you've been on it for longer than half an hour. I don't know whether they would have got rid of that. I've definitely been on there for longer than half an hour. Who knows? There's a bit more grass-like down there now, and then not so much desert. We've got a little airport down there. That's nice. Right, next waypoint is Newton. Right, you know what, let's have a look at our arrival down Denver. It's probably a good time to be doing that. So we come in, actually it's a very simple arrival, it's just straight in and then turn left. We have actually done this exact arrival before when we did the Topa Sky 787-9 on this flight. Obviously Denver, quite a high up airport, about 5,500 feet, so that's the reason for the slightly high up restrictions. Now remember again, this plane likes to... Oh.
I have some drinks for you, Captain.
Okay.
Here you are.
This plane likes to descend a bit early. If I put in... So say when I put in a restriction earlier saying I had to be above 270 at basin, it suddenly makes its mind up that it wants to be at 270 at basin. It's a really weird bug. So I will check actually now. So we'll do 400 miles, so 513 takeaway 4, so it's 113 miles, with perfectly fine for about 32,000 feet of descent, so there's no problem with our descent rate. It's if we basically told it we had to be at a basin below flight level 270, it suddenly decided that we need to descend around here. It really messes it up, it's really weird. It does annoy me, definitely. And then we've got to be above 200 at Siskiyou, Bugdy, we need to be 250, and then above 210, no, below 210, above 170, and then Crag, we've got to go all the way down to 210 knots, so a bit slow, at 13,000, and then Null, which is above 12,000, then at 11,000 at Teller, again 210 knots, and then we start to head on the arrival, so from Teller, it is no restrictions anywhere, I don't think. Actually, no, we need to reach Krupp at 11,000. So this whole bit from Teller to Krupp is all done at 11,000. And then the glide slopes, we're down to 10,000 at Cholla, 9,000 at Selby, and then at Dimon, that's where the glide slope starts. So it's a bit of a long arrival bit. Whoa. What is going on? Interesting, there was a bit of a duplicated announcement there. That was a bit weird. Alright, let's check the weather down in Denver, see if it's changed. No, it hasn't. I'm expecting new weather in about probably the next 10 minutes. It updates every hour, and it's now in 7 minutes since it's been updated, so it won't be long. Currently looking at about an hour and 6 minutes until we get there. Looking at descending in about 45 minutes, so we've got quite a long way left to run. And yeah, once we land at the airport, probably going to vacate on like Mike 6 and then taxi into the Concourse A, taking stand probably Alpha 51. Is that an option? Yeah, Alpha 51. Actually, Alpha 53 is the closest, so we'll probably take Alpha 53. Cool. That's fine. And if you want to see our route, you can see there as our route as going along. Hope everybody is enjoying the stream. Be sure to smash that like button if you are enjoying. Of course, we've already had one new subscriber today. Thank you for that. Honestly, the channel's on 135 now, guys. Massive, massive grow. It's absolutely amazing. 135 subs. Really, really impressive. You know, I just think how mad that is, you know? 135. I remember at the start of this year, we were on 66. 65, you know? Like, in this year, I don't know what's happened, but, like, so my first 3.5 years of YouTube, I gained 60 subs. Next year of YouTube, this last year, I have so far gained about 70. So I've you know, more than that. So it's really good, you know? 70 in a year, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's cool. Definitely cool. Also, I hope you guys are liking the iRacing content on the channel as well. It's getting really good views at the moment, particularly the Simulab Production Car Challenge. You guys seem to like that. Definitely. It's cool. Anyway, right, just past Newton. 470 miles to go, so we're coming up on halfway already. It's gone very quickly, this flight. Partially because of the wind. I don't know why, but I've said this in the flight when I was going from Newark to Memphis and I had a massive headwind. Flights always seem to go really slowly when you have a headwind and really quickly when you have a tailwind, even if the flight itself is much longer than, like, say it's like an hour flight with a headwind or an hour and a half with a tailwind. The hour and a half with a tailwind feels quicker. It's weird. I don't know why. I can't work it out, but it does. It actually feels quicker. It's really fun though, really cool. So I'm glad I'm doing a bit more flight sim. You know, recently in the last couple of weeks I've been glued to iRacing. So it's really cool that I'm doing other stuff, basically. But yeah, it's been good. Also now B-Class on iRacing as well, so kind of shows how much I've been playing it, you know. Enough to be B-Class already. It's a little bit much. Fun though. Definitely. Definitely fun. Right, 450 miles, we've flown 340, so we're not quite halfway, we'll be halfway in about 60 miles. 55 to be exact. Right, we've got any new weather through for Denver yet? Nope. I'll check Windy, because I don't know why, but Navigraph, no, not Navigraph, Active Sky takes forever. But then Windy.com, which is, you know, where I used to find it for the new flight sim, although I'm not going to do that now, because it has a, you know, the A320, the fly-by-wire A320neo has a built-in thing now, which is really cool. But I'll check now. It's, yeah, there was one at 9:53 and it's already gone through. It was 080 at 4 knots. So there's basically no wind now, to be honest. 80 at 4, QNH was, well, actually, altimeter was 30.44. That's quite a high pressure, that is. And the temperature, -5. Oh boy, yeah, that's getting quite cold, isn't it, that is? We might need anti-ice. -5. Although if there's no cloud, there's no need. At the moment, it's clear. 10 stat 2 miles visibility, absolutely fine. But yeah, -5, it's chilly. It's about 3 AM down there. Although the new weather's just come through on active sky, what do you know? Quite high pressure though, yeah, definitely. 1013 is the QNH. No, 1031 I mean. It's quite high pressure. If I put it in on here, look, so 3044. You know, that's about 500 feet gain that we're going to be having, which is quite a bit. So we'll see what happens later with the pressure as well. I mean, I've seen pressure go higher, but it is quite high. Right, about just under, yeah, about half an hour until we're descending. Actually, it's a bit longer than that. It's about 35 minutes, so it's not bad. So this flight has massively, you know, I remember it was an hour until we had to descend. It's gone down a lot, definitely. Now, there's basically no, I said there's no wind down Denver. We have Denver to our south, so that should be fine. Right, Fred is our next waypoint, then Dicey. These two waypoints are very close together, I don't know why. Oh, wait. For some reason they keep saying, look, that our last waypoint was position and not the waypoint that it actually was. So when we pass Fred now, look, it doesn't say Fred behind us anymore, which it should. It just says it says PPOS. Really weird. Anyway. That's that, I guess. So yeah, in the new plane, look, you go in the A319 Neo in MSFS, you go to MCDU menu, and then you can see all these things. It's really cool. Really, really cool. It's really, really, I haven't really done much flight simming for a while, and then this weekend I've literally done 2 flights. It's like, you know, quite nice, I guess. Plenty of flight simming in there. Flight simming's cool. But yeah, our ground speed being 545 knots. It's just insane, isn't it? Not normal to go that quickly. Also, sadly, with the new flight sim, our overlay doesn't work, which is a shame. I don't know. I tried out using that Sim Toolkit Pro. However, it didn't seem to. The overlay tool didn't seem to work, so it just didn't display anything. So we'll have to try. I'll try it out at one point, but. Yeah, it's a shame, because I was just noticing I have a nice overlay, but, you know, half of it doesn't work in the new flight sim. Like, in the new flight sim, let's bring it up quickly. In the new flight sim, that's what the overlay looks like. It just has, it's the, just bits of text. It's a shame. And then you've got my offline screen. It's really cool, that, I think. All the different overlays. And I've got, obviously I haven't really done any long haul flying, so I haven't needed that offline screen. But, yeah. Yeah, it's just desert down there, really, just a bit of grass. It's starting to get a little bit lighter, you can see in the distance there. Local time in Denver right now, I'm not sure whether that will reflect the time in the game, obviously. Local time in Denver right now is about 3:12. And sunrise isn't until 7 AM, so we're not going to get anything, I don't think. So yeah, it's supposed to be like, I think where we are right now, it's probably supposed to be about, like, 2 AM maybe. No, 3:13, so we are within that particular time zone. So Denver local time is, yeah, 3:13. So we're on Denver's time zone at the moment. Hello in the chat. Yeah, so we're on Denver's time zone at the moment, so it'll be probably about 4 AM when we get down there, so it's not really going to be getting light. Oh.
Hello, Captain. I have some sandwiches for you.
Oh, nice
Enjoy.
sandwiches. Better than coffee. Hang on a minute, there's a controller. I'm not sure whether this is, like, false or something. There's a controller who's been online for 10 hours in Minneapolis Center. That's not true. It says they're expected log-off time 1100 Zulu. Wow. They can't be online that long. They must have been, like... They must have been on at different times or something. That's really odd. Like, maybe he was offline for a bit. I mean, like, 11 hours by the end of it. 11 hours! I mean, that's a long time. That's a really long time. Like, really, really long. They're like the only ATC in the whole of the US, pretty much, yeah. It's a shame that. You don't really get ATC over here very often. At this time, anyway. Obviously, if I was to come back in 8-9 hours, they'd probably be full of ATC. And then in 12 hours, it's kind of its peak. But, yeah. Maybe. I could do that on the new game, potentially. Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. How far is that, anyway? I really don't know my Asian geography that well. I know that one is in Singapore and one's in Malaysia. I've been to Singapore before in Flight Sim. It looks cool. I did an event. There you go, the flight, about an hour and 45 minutes apparently, yeah. I could do that. What I would like to do, I think, maybe to get the most out of the new Flight Sim, because we've only got one plane. I think we should start doing some of Fly UK's tours. They have tours that you can do. Well, they've redone them, actually. That's really cool. They've redone them a little bit since I last checked. So there's a lot of it. They've, like, redone the way they look and things. That's cool. But there's some tours that we can do that do take us all around the place. Oh, I don't know whether there's one in Asia. There's one called... Actually, maybe we should do that. The Around the World in 80 Days tour. Maybe we should do that. I think it's 80 legs. No, 35 legs around the world. And we can, of course, do that in the new Flight Sim with the Neo. And that takes us from London to Geneva, Geneva, Rome, Rome, Athens. I'm not going to read it all out because it'll take forever. But they're all within 2 hours of flying. I think the longest leg, there's one that's 950 miles. That one is 950 as well. Yeah, the longest flight is 950 miles, so maybe we should do that at some point. It would take quite a while because there's 35 flights and we could probably only do one per stream. Maybe two. But yeah, that would help us get the most out of the new flight sim, I think. I was thinking it'd be a good idea. It's part of his, there you go, part of a tour someone did around the world in 80 days. And this is around the world in like, I don't know, 80 hours or something. 57 hours, 57 and a half hours it apparently takes to do all of the flights. That's cool. Maybe we could do that. And there's also, there's just a ton of short hops around Athens. There's a Caribbean one. So there's quite a bit there. I'll see if there's anything else they've added. I don't think there is, but they've added some new. They've got some like newish tours on there. They've also got some cargo stuff as well. That could be quite cool. So yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea. That tour. Something to get out of the new flight sim, obviously, because at the moment we can only really fly out of the UK with Fly UK, so it's kind of, because obviously, you know, unlike this game where most of the world looks exactly the same, this is actually okay. The new flight sim looks, you know, everywhere looks different. I mean, this game, you know, if you're flying over desert in Asia, desert in Spain, or desert in the US, and it's literally just the same desert texture. So, yeah, could probably do that. Cause it goes all around the world. It doesn't go through like South America, Africa, or Oceania, but it goes through, or Australasia, whichever one you want to call it. It's got loads of names. But yeah, it goes through Alaska, all the way through the US, over the Atlantic via Reykjavik, and it goes through the Middle East, Dubai, goes through Hong Kong, Tokyo. So we could have a look at some of the nice Japan scenery, and also the US scene that's coming to the new sim. So yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea, and we can use the A320neo, of course. That'd be cool. They've got no Asia tour though, I've noticed. They haven't got one specifically for Asia. Don't know why. They've also got the short hop world tour as well. That's quite similar actually. Apparently it takes longer though, because actually it goes everywhere. That does. So that's a bit. It goes to every continent. I know, yeah. It has to have. It's good that it has cloud storage. I mean, I think the size of the game is about 91 gig. Like on this PC that has Ethernet, it took about 3.5 hours. But on my other PC that just has regular Wi-Fi, it took about 7.5 hours. It's absolutely insane. I think it's 91 gig. But now it's up to 112. That's how big it is now. It's 112 with all of the updates. So it'll take even longer now they've had updates. It's absolutely nuts. It's a pretty big game. That's why they recommend 150 gig free storage for future updates and things. So I think within a year it probably could be up to 150 gig in size. It's pretty mad. I'm going to be getting a new hard drive for my recording PC. This PC has 2 terabytes of hard drive, so I've got no problem. But the other one has 1 terabyte hard drive, so I think it would be a good idea to get myself another one. They're only about £40 for a terabyte, so they're not too expensive. And then I think it's about £25 for the base, and then it's basically £15 for every terabyte after that. So it's 40 for a terabyte, and then 55 for 2. That's basically how they seem to price it. Right, we're actually ascending in about 20 minutes, 200 miles time. But yeah, it's a pretty large game. It's definitely one of the largest games out there right now. I downloaded Forza Horizon 4 on the PC when I did my video. That was about 80 gig, so that was pretty big as well. Actually, I'll search it up. What's the largest PC game? Oh, we're getting a bit of turbulence. The weather radar's not telling me about that. It is on weather and turbulence, right? Yeah. And it is. Yeah, we're getting chucked around a bit by turbulence here. Do we need seatbelt signs? I don't think we do yet. was like, oh, what's the largest game? And then got distracted by this, doing this. Right, nothing has landed at Denver yet, still. So Denver's still a bit empty. Okay, yeah, this thing's getting chucked around a little bit. I think we're okay. Right, largest game. File size. Whoa, okay. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. On PC, it is 200 gigabytes. 200 gigabytes. Oh my word. Really? Yeah, I was gonna say, that's nuts. That's absolutely insane. 200 gigabytes. I can't believe that. That's absolutely insane. How can it be that big? That's literally double the size of the new flight sim. Oh, there you go. So that would take, on my Wi-Fi PC, 14 hours. Yeah. Anyone fancy that? Keeping a PC on for 14 hours? Because often, especially with Steam, I don't think you can turn off a computer and then start it the next day. Like, say I got up at like 6 AM. That would be... wow. So it would be 12 hours until 6 PM. So it would be on from 6 AM in the morning until 8 PM at night. Wow. That is, yeah, that's a bit large. That's a large game. Especially considering a PC typically only has 1 terabyte of storage as well. That's really bad. Like, well, that's like a fifth of your hard drive for one game. Wow. Right, we're getting bumped around a little bit by the wind. It's up to 110 knots. Wow. Yeah, that's some pretty strong wind. That's like, we're talking like Atlantic levels there of tailwind. That's pretty mad. You can see our engine going up and down to try and keep our speed a bit more level with all this turbulence. About to start our arrival at Bump. However, there's actually no restrictions for quite a while after that anyway. Yeah, we're being chucked around a bit here by whatever this is. Looking nice outside. Nice livery, not the MetroAir livery we were hoping for today, but there we go. It's alright. Yeah, this turbulence is not so good actually. You're getting a little bit chucked around the place with this. Right, nothing heading for Denver, that's fine. That plane in Munich has been on the network for 2 hours and it's still just chilling in Munich. I wonder why people do that. They seem to do that. It's really weird. There's no Atlantic control online. There's not a lot of ATC currently around the place. Gatwick has ground and tower. Heathrow has tower and approach. So there's a little bit of stuff around the place. I'm liking it as well. Look around on Vatsim now, and you see a ton of like unusual planes and like little private planes. It's like obviously people using things like On Air Company and doing just random flights in the new flight sim. Like it's opened up a whole new way of doing flight sim. You know, it's really cool, the new flight sim. It definitely has opened up other stuff to do. You know, maybe I'm not so much of a fan of doing that sort of stuff. Other types of planes and other routes, but I quite like just the commercial flying. But it's cool, really cool. Right, no more weather is there? No, there won't be any more weather, I don't think. We'll check the Barrow actually for Denver, because we're coming up on 250 miles away. In fact, we've just hit it, meaning that the plane now recognises what approach we're doing. So it's probably a good idea to get our Barrow plugged in. The minimums are going to be... There you go, there's the table at the bottom. Cat 1, it's going to be 200 feet in the air, so 5, 6, 3, 4. There we go, that's in there. Transition altitude, of course, is 18,000 here in the US. Getting really chucked around, actually. Although it's more like 11,000. No, it's more like 12,500 because of how high up the airport is. It's kind of why America just has that kind of uniform 18,000 feet transition altitude. It's like, because obviously a 6,000 feet transition altitude wouldn't work at Denver, because obviously the airport itself is almost at 6,000 feet. You know, really you want the transition altitude to be at least 5,000 or 6,000 feet above the elevation of the airport. Maybe 4,000. Some airports have it very low. I think a lot of airports like around the Netherlands, like Eindhoven I was flying to yesterday, its transition altitude was 3,000 feet. Like, really low. Although I think Eindhoven itself, I think is actually on about 500 feet, I'm pretty sure. I'll check now, I'm pretty sure it was about 500 feet. No, it's actually 100 feet. Okay, it's okay then. It's not too bad. It's actually raining down there right now. No rain for us here. Anything that was raining, it doesn't show up on the windscreen, sadly. Oh well. Yeah, it is a little bit bumpy here with this 103 knot wind. The wind has actually died down a little bit, so our ground speed has dropped to about 520 knots. It was obviously, we were hitting 545 knots earlier, so we've dropped speed a little bit, although not by a lot, to be honest. And there's snowy and there's bold, so we're now on the arrival into Denver. We're only we're still 230 miles away. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We're descending in about 13 minutes until descent, so not long. 13 minutes, that's alright, isn't it? Shame about having no ATC, although as I said, that is basically expected at this time over in the US. There's no one online. I don't think many people play flight sim at this time of day. I'm not going to bother changing my runway now so we can get rid of flight radar. I'm really not bothered. We've got Denver to our south, and there's basically no wind, so we haven't got that to think about either. But yeah, the fly-by-wire A320neo is coming on a long way. It's really nice, really cool. I can't wait though for that SimBrief integration. I'll have a look at it now. It's so good. Like, it just pops in your flight, like, really good. It's getting there a lot, definitely. The new sim. Well, not the new sim. The new sim isn't getting there. The fly-by-wire community mod is getting there. That's what I should be saying. The developers are sober, have not really done anything, have they? Apart from putting a bit of new content every now and then. And fix some issues that really should have been fixed in the year and a bit it was in alpha. Also, I think it should have been released like closer to now, this new game. Although that would have meant obviously that the fly-by-wire community mod couldn't have got started so early on, so it's ready for now. So I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? It's alright in the end. Alright, coming up on Snowy now, and then Bowl. We're going to be descending after Bowl. The next waypoint is a basin, and we're basically going to be descending at a basin. So not too far until descent now, probably about 100 miles. Oh, 85, there we go. 85 miles, so we're closing in on Denver, slowly but surely. With our very quick cruising speed, 524 knots at the moment. I think the timing for this flight though, like if you look on Fly UK, it says that this flight's supposed to take an hour and 45 minutes gate to gate, which isn't the case. It's more like 2 hours. Luckily, I think we left about 12 minutes early. I'll have a look on the Skytrack map now to see where I am. It like shows it. Oh, I know why the MetroAir thing doesn't work. It's a new livery. MetroAir replaced their livery. That's why. So yeah, and all of a sudden, ever since MetroAir replaced their livery, it's just been a bit bugged. So that's a shame. I'll have a look on their legacy page. I didn't have a look at that, but they have a page. FlyK, you can click on legacy, and it will show you like old liveries. Oh, there's nothing there. That's a shame. They've got a P3D one for the Aerosoft Airbus. Maybe that would be any good, I don't know. Shame. Oh well. Oh, was that a bit of turbulence? Yeah, it's weird that the delivery just wasn't working. It's been a bit of a bumpy flight, this. It's not been too bad, although weirdly it's... I'm positive that the wind... what do you call it? The weather radar is totally bugged on this plane. In Microsoft Flight Sim, the weather radar is also pretty bugged as well. But, yeah. Also, the fuel usage in the new Flight Sim seems to be like... With the fly-by-wire, it seems to use not enough fuel. Like, it only used like 800 kilos of fuel, and it was supposed to use about 2,000 kilos. I mean, I'd rather it used not enough than too much, definitely. That's the way round I'd rather it. But still. Because when it uses too much, obviously that's a pain. Also, I couldn't tell because I was doing sim brief with the regular plane, not the Neo. Obviously, the Neo uses less fuel. So that also could have been why. I'll have a look for... So, sim brief... A320 Neo, because there still isn't... I still haven't found one. I don't know, I can't really see anything. There you go, A320 Neo profile. Yeah, there was one available for the Jar Design A320 Neo, but it was broken. There is a fuel calculator on one of the sites, but yeah, it's a shame it doesn't work. sim brief. They still haven't got an A320 Neo profile. I come out to a bowl and then a basin in about 50 miles. So we're descending in just above 50 miles now. So yeah, not far till descent. It's gone very quickly, this flight, actually. Very, very quickly. No new weather down in Denver. There won't be for another 15 minutes. So we'll probably get a little bit of new weather just before we land. We're landing in about, well, I think just under half an hour. Should be about 25 minutes, I think. Although, maybe not quite. Take 15 minutes now we're over, eh? 17 minutes, it's saying. Obviously that isn't the case, because it does do it based on speed. And that we're going direct. Of course, we're not going direct there. We're slightly different. It's a bit of a steep descent, this, actually. 113 miles out. Although I do remember that, obviously, it's quite high up. Denver Airport. There's an airport. Right, also, if I delete the restriction at Siski, I just want to see if it makes sure we're still above that altitude restriction of 20,000. Otherwise, it might interfere with our descent, like when our descent is. It doesn't actually, but it's just good to make sure that they know what the plane's doing without the restriction, if it's possible. Although by the looks of it, the restriction wasn't even, messing with us. So I think we can just put it back in, and we're still fine. Look, still 3 miles after a basin, so it wasn't really messing out with the plan of the plane. And then obviously, yeah. So the main restriction is at Bugdeed. We've got to go down to 250 knots, unfortunately. They're not great. It's at 250 knots and at 210 knots as well. They're exact. Anyway. Yeah, not that far now until Denver. I think we'll go down to 40 nautical mile range quite soon, because there's going to be a lot of waypoints within a very short space of time later on. So they're all 4 miles apart and 3 miles apart, so they're going to start getting quite cluttered on the screen. So we're going to put it down to 40 now, I think. Seems like a good idea. Okay, our speed's dropped to about 513 knots now, so our speed has started going down. It's dropped 30 knots from its peak earlier on. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? But never mind, it doesn't really matter. Right, 20 miles to a basin. So we're descending about 25. 23. Okay. Just check that all of our arrival info is in and correct. Yep. Yeah, very high pressure that. 3044. Never mind. Look at that. Mach point 777. 777. We're Mach 777. I like that. I don't really know why. I know it's an aircraft type, but, you know, doesn't really matter. 15 miles to a basin now. Descending in literally 1 minute. So let's get our descent down to 17,000. That is the lowest we're allowed to descend at the moment. And then it'll be 13,000 and so on, basically. There is actually a plane on the ground in Denver now. There's a United Airlines going down to Anchorage. Okay. Don't know what runway they're planning on using then. Or some on Unicom, so I'll hear everything that they're doing. I'm going to stick with the runway I'm using, to be honest. There's so many runways in Denver, I don't think it really matters which one you're using. I'll check Flight Radar, actually, because there should have been something in Flight Radar by now. Although, obviously, we're so close to the descent that I don't really want to change the runway I'm using now. Let's have a quick look. There should have been a plane landing. Literally, there you go. There's a FedEx that landed 4 minutes ago. And it used, again, 3-5 left. So we're going to be sticking with that then. That seems to be what they're using down in Denver at the moment. Awesome. So, down we go. Still got about 7 miles. I know it says 5. I think they're slightly out of each other, aren't they? We're not getting bumped around so much now either. It's got a little bit lighter, although it's still quite dark outside. It might be getting like a little bit lighter by the time we actually touch down in Denver. I think right now it's about, what, 3:43 in Denver, so it'll probably be about just gone 4 AM by the time we touch down there. So it'll probably be quite dark, I suspect. Right, only 113 miles to run. Also, we want to start descending just before that, because obviously we want to get the plane just prepared for the descent, so it's doing 1,000 feet per minute slightly early on. We'll do it about now. There you go, that's perfect, look. So down to 1,000 feet per minute, then just as we hit that, we want to start doing a bit of a steeper descent. Help prepare the plane for the descent, basically. So there we go. Down we go. We're going to set auto brakes, well, low really, because obviously it's a 12,000 foot runway, and the longer we go along it, until Mike 7 at least, the shorter taxi that we have. So, auto brakes low. And down we go. Actually, we're just going to go straight on to ILS altitude. We'll let the plane manage the rest of it. ILS altitude is 7,000. That's where we intercept the glide slope. So we'll let the plane deal with the restrictions. No ATC. Hello. Welcome in the chat. Just as we're descending. Hope everybody is enjoying the stream, obviously. We've already descended a good sort of 6,000 feet. It's quite a strong descent at the moment, about 4,000 feet per minute. That's maybe a little bit over the top, I don't know. That seems to be what, it's slightly slowed itself down. We're going a little bit quickly actually, so we'll bring the speed brakes out to help our case. Don't really know why this thing's doing such a steep descent. That doesn't really have much of a reason to be doing that. I guess it just feels like it. Normally at cruise we'd be doing about 460 knots, so we're still doing more than cruise speed at 28,000 feet. It's absolutely insane because of the wind, basically. Although you can see the speed is massively decreasing as we go because of the decreasing altitude and the speed and everything. Yeah, we're descending quite quickly. Yeah, that's just what the plane's following. And it's what it's decided. It's fine anyway. We've got a restriction. We've got to be above 200 at Siski, and then above 170 at Bugdi. We've got to slow down at Bugdi as well. Maybe that's why it's doing a bit of a steeper descent. Get a nice quick descent in now when we have to slow down later. Because the Airbus does sometimes do some slightly weird things because it's programmed to try and save as much fuel as possible. That's kind of how the Airbus is programmed. It's very tech heavy. Likes to get the max amount of its fuel. That's why it does such slow climbs. Because that helps maximise cruise then. It's like cruising doing a slow climb. Okay, the speed has started to come down. We're getting much better FPS over here than we were in Los Angeles. We're getting about 25. We're getting like 30, 35, so it's a little bit better. It feels a lot smoother, even though it's only 5 to 10 FPS. Oh, there you go, actually. Let's retract the speed brakes now, because we don't need them anymore. This thing's just massively slowed off its descent all of a sudden. Obviously, transition altitude here in the US is 18,000. It's 3044. Look at the altimeter. So altitude just tumbling down there in meters. I don't know how you activate the meters system. I think you press. Maybe it's that button there, maybe. No, it's one of the buttons. Is that it? Yeah, there's the button. Yeah, that was not good. Honestly, that new flight sim, the fact that whoever decided that you cannot control the plane in drone camera, it's really annoying, and it's so difficult to get back because the keys are messed up. It's like insert, end, insert, and I was trying to get back to the camera. It's a really irritating thing. I hate the camera system in the new game. This game has a far superior camera system. I wish they just kept it the same, really. Same, it doesn't even have a replay system. That's another thing that the new flight sim probably should have, is a replay system. There's a lot of things missing in that game that were in FSX. That's what makes it embarrassing. It's like they literally had a game 15 years ago that had all this stuff in it. So why didn't you just use that? Like, you know, there's actually a program where you can convert a plane from FSX into MSFS. And if you run things like Active Sky Pro ATC, they recognise the new flight sim as the old one. They think the old one is running. You know, with like Pro ATC with no updates whatsoever works in both games. I know, yeah, it's a shame about that, but yeah, just don't use the drone camera. It's probably the safest idea. Right, approaching 18,000 feet, no new weather, so the QNH is still going to, well, altimeter, get used to saying that, it's going to be 3044. Right, 3044. That puts us a little bit too high, although again we need to be above flight level 170 anyway. Oh, this plane's left us slowing down a little bit late actually, yeah. I only just noticed that, but it's left it really late. Right, seatbelt signs on. Why is it moaning at me about, it's saying more drag and it's whinging at me for having the throttle? That's a bit weird. Why is that restriction 17,046 feet? Why is it so exact? That's really strange. So yeah, we are a little bit too high, although it doesn't matter, because we're going to have a bit... I think we're going to have quite a slow descent. Actually, no, we're not. We've got 22 miles to get down to 13,000. There you go, we've made it to 250 knots, though. We've made it okay. Yeah, we seem to be alright at the moment. On the descent rate, just about to pass... I guess, I don't know, is it supposed to pronounce it Bugdi? I don't know. They have names, the waypoints in the US, but trying to work some of them out are it's a bit confusing. Right, there we go, down to 13,000 now. Denver traffic, Metro 440 on the teletransition, ILS 35 left, descending through 17,000. Denver traffic, Metro 440, ETA is 1105 Zulu. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea, yeah. You can always go around. To be fair, it's the controls in that new game, though. The controls of all the small planes, they feel very dodgy. Apart from the TBM, which feels pretty good to fly, most planes in that game feel shocking. I think, in fact, every single one apart from the TBM. Maybe the Cessna Caravan's okay as well, but they all feel terrible to fly. Obviously, the A320neo feels good now because it's been tweaked by fly-by-wire. But yeah, they do in general just. It's honestly not a good game, that new flight sim. It's actually, from a game point of view, it's a really bad game. It needs mods, and luckily it has got one at the moment. It's got a mod, the fly-by-wire A320neo, when people have started making good sceneries. I said I flew into Eindhoven and there was no buildings, no taxiways. I've even flown in there at an FSX, and it has that stuff. So it wasn't a question of it being out of date. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to be getting X-Plane because obviously I've already invested in one flight sim now. But yeah, maybe doing some max altitude challenges would be funny. I don't know. I think we're going to be at 13,000 feet a little bit early, or saying that we do need to get to 13,000, and then suddenly slow to 210 knots. We've got to slow quite a bit. Right, there's only 44 miles out actually, so there's not too long to run now. That's quite nice. There's the city of Denver coming into view. Look. Still looks pretty decent, although again the textures do look exactly the same as Las Vegas or Los Angeles. I'm sure if we flew over that in the new flight sim we would not find that out. I'm sure it would look different. Okay, plane's going to start slowing itself down now. It's 210 knots. We're going to need some speed brakes. I think we're going to put in flaps 1 as well, just to make sure that we can stick below 210 knots. Obviously below 230 knots you can have flaps 1. You know what, I'm not going to bother with speed brakes, the game's yelling at me. Normally, unless the Airbus asks you for more drag, it is just better to leave it, actually. Alright, flaps 1 then, that will help us slow down to 210 knots, provide a little bit of extra drag. There we go, we're 2 miles early, but there we go, and then we're going to be down to 12,000. Very controlled arrival, it's actually down to 10 nautical mile range on there, so we can actually see everything. Melbourne, maybe, I don't know, unfortunately a lot of the, an awful lot of the, like, Australian routes I used to do in the 787, they've been scrapped by Fly UK. It's a massive shame. So there's not an awful lot more they can do. There's very little now. They did scrap. They replaced it with 787-8, and they got rid of a lot of routes. So that's a bit of a shame. But one thing though is Nordic Sky, the Nordic one. They've replaced their Dorniers with Beechcraft B1900Ds, and I have got the Canardo Beechcraft, although it's not Vatsim quality. It hasn't got any kind of it only works with default flight plans and things, so it's not really Vatsim capable. Why is this saying the QNH is 3041? It isn't. It's 3044. Yeah, it's still saying 3044 on Navigraph. No, not Navigraph. Active Sky. Right, there you go, just passing 12,000 down to 11,000 at 210 knots. Then we're just stuck at 11,000 then for about 10 miles. That's just how this procedure works. And then we're descending a bit further then. And then the last descent altitude is 7,000 before the ILS and all that starts. We're still 29 miles out at the moment, so no point in doing anything. Obviously, Denver's at 5,500 feet, so we're not quite as high up as it seems we are. I'm guessing the same rule still applies though of landing lights at 10,000, I'm not totally sure. Okay, there's 11,000. We're now just stuck here now for quite a while. Right, 24 miles to Denver. Let's get the landing system turned on, make sure it's all correct. 108.5, and we're looking for an ILS called IAQD. So we've got the correct ILS activated, that's good. It means we're ready for landing. We're going to activate, the ILS path starts at Krupp, that's on 19.8 DME. And then the actual proper arrival doesn't start until a little bit later than that. It's a bit extended, the arrival, but yeah, we should be alright. Oh, a little bit of lag. I think that was Denver probably loading in. Anyway, 21 miles to Denver. Actually, we can activate the approach now, to be honest. And we've already got the localizer. Look, the glide slope won't be anywhere near it just yet. And there is a plane still on the ground in Denver. Oh, there you go. It's actually just taken off now, so we're okay now. Right, down to 10,000 now. Let's get the line lights turned on now, I guess. Why not? And we can see just in the distance the airport of Denver, only just, right down to 10,000. Actually, we're on the glide slope as well. Denver traffic, Metro 440 on ILS 35 left, 18 miles out. Nice. Right, 15 miles to Denver, so still, actually we're only 1.5 then, not 1.7. Right, this thing is now slowing itself down. I think we'll take control of the speed manually now. Let's go 180 knots. On the spoilers for landing. And we'll go flaps 2. Help us slow down a little bit. There's a ton of airports around Denver. You can see there's the United, look. Just taken off. That's off to Anchorage. 737, that is. Go around altitude in Denver is 10,000 feet. That's set in there. Because obviously we're on the glide slope now, so we can just stick to that. Although apparently the glide slope didn't start until a bit later than this, although, there we go. And then we're landing on 35 left, vacating, and then down. We're going to be using entry point 3 Echo and parking at stand Alpha 53. So, Alpha 53. There we go. And apparently the handling has to be by American Airlines. Okay. And we are 12 miles out now, so still waiting a little bit. Looks like this flight will be pretty perfect, actually. I think 180 knots is fine for now. We're going to wait until about 8 miles out to drop the speed, and then it's normally 4 miles out then to go to final approach speed.
2,500.
Not much wind in the area, only about 12 knots. This is what I mean, though. Like, the wind is actually very similar to what it is on the weather report. It's slightly the wrong direction, to be fair, but although that weather report is an hour old, the But the actual speed of it is pretty much accurate, even though we're still 3,000 above the airport. That's what you'd be expecting. You see there, the weather direction is now starting to change. Now we're getting a bit closer to the airport. Right, there's about 9 miles out. Let's go down 160 knots now. And flaps 3. And then we'll be able to go flaps full quite soon. There we go. Slow ourselves down nicely. It's quite nice. This is quite a nice livery, this Aerosoft livery. Don't worry, I'm not going to forget the gear. We'll drop that now. And then we go 5 miles from the airport. Let's go ahead and we'll go final approach speed, which is about 135, I believe, 134. And I think it's time to take control of the aircraft. Obviously this thing has auto throttle all the way. There you go, ECAM, no blue, so we're ready for landing. Denver traffic, Metro 440, on final 35 left.
$1,000.
We'll aim for a smooth landing. I don't know, I haven't landed the, I haven't really flown the A319 ever. I very rarely fly it. I fly it with EasyJet occasionally, like virtual EasyJet, but because Fly UK don't actually have an A319, I think they might do with, like Topa Sky, but apart from that, it's only MetroAir that has the A319. Well, I don't think I've ever flown the A318. That's not really used, is it, the A318? It's not really a used plane. Very lit up Denver. Obviously it's about 4 in the morning now in Denver.
400.
Happy lights are good.
300. 100 above.
We're a little bit high actually.
200.
Well, the happy lights say we're okay. Continue. So
100.
we've got a very long runway, so don't need to be crazy with it. A little bit high, but
70,
okay.
60, 50,
Idle the
40,
power.
30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
So I never understand this. Like the touchdowns of this are always really rough, even though they don't look it. Right, reverse is out. Right, they look quite smooth, like, but they're not. It's weird. Anyway, reverse is out. Early knots, reverse is in. And auto brakes off, manual braking, and we'll take the fast exit point here at Mike 6. And clock can be stopped. 1 hour at 41 minutes, so only 1 minute. I think it's about 3 minutes over how long it's supposed to be in the end. And there we go. Denver traffic, Metro 440, vacated. Right, line lights off, taxi lights on, APU on, and there we go. Hello and welcome everybody to Denver. We're slightly off the centre line there. It's alright. Alright, flaps down, disarm spoilers, and there we go. We're in Denver. So now we're gonna. It's alright. I don't think the engines were really over grass. It was okay. It's quite a wide runway compared to what is quite a small plane. I think we're alright. Right. So actually, I think we're gonna go left. Right. We're by Mike 7. Actually, no. We want to take Alpha November. Taxiway Alpha November. So that's the next one. There it is, look. So we're going to go left down Alpha November, then our gate should just be in there on the other side of that concourse. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're down. We're here. Right, landing systems off. Flight directors off. Everything off there. Good. That left turn now. And then this is Alpha November. We should be a little like inner taxiway now that we can take. It's the purple taxi lane and the green taxi lane here at Denver. It's a bit weird. I don't know why I don't know why that's how it works. It just is. So we want to head left, and then that should cover us then for our gate. So we're going to go left and then right. I don't think so. I don't know. There was in the new sim, obviously the plane had that physics bug where the plane pitched down. That was technically a crash, although I'm not really sure if that was my fault. That was just the game being weird, but no, not really. Maybe on the landing challenge, I probably failed. I think I failed a landing challenge on the new flight sim. In FSX though, I've never really crashed a plane because the planes on FSX are flyable. Right, I'm gonna turn left here, then turn right into the gate. Turn the taxi light off actually, so we don't blind the marshaller. And I go taxiing into gate Alpha 53. The only handling available was American Airlines, who knows why. I guess it's probably a hub, isn't it, for them, Denver. Although I'm pretty sure it's also a hub for United, so who knows. And, I don't know, probably not Delta, maybe Delta. I mean, whenever you find American and United, you probably find Delta at least once. Maybe not as a hub. Anyway, taxiing in. Make sure we're nice and lined up. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Engine 1. Oh, I left the engines in ignition start. Why do I always do that? I do it loads. Right. Weather radar off. TCAS off. Connect the jetway. The amount of times I leave it in ignition start mode, though. Right. Engine 1 can go off. There we go. And wing light and beacon light can come off. Oh, good parking. I've got a happy marshaller. Why did they make that a thing? Why? It's so funny. I'm glad you're happy, Mr. Marshaller. There you go. Bow at the end. Thank you. Anyway, now wheel chocks on. Parking brakes off, traffic cones and external power. External power off, APU on, and request deboarding. We can open the cargo doors. Oh, we've got back stairs. Doesn't look like it, so just the front door for us. And also stop Skytrack at this exact moment, otherwise it'll think we have 0 passengers. I think I may have already forgotten that. Right. Seatbelt signs off, and there we go. Get rid of the clock on there, and there we go. That is it. That is us done with a flight. There's the jet bridge. It's okay on its connection, I guess. Yep. Shame that the livery didn't work. And there we go. Never mind. Don't know where the baggage people are. Just leave the door open for them, is it? They haven't even started deboarding for some reason, who knows why. Anyway, there we go. All finished. Nice. Just get rid of the flight on Navigraph and delete all of the flights I've got built up. It's quite a lot of them. There we go. Hope everybody did enjoy this stream then. And we're going to have the end screen up there. Disconnect ourselves from the Vatsim network. And there we go. Hope everybody enjoyed today's stream. Had brand new sub, 2 likes as well. So thank you to whoever liked it, obviously. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching. And be sure to check out the channel for more content. And bye-bye.